So certainly a champion that has been a bit hit or miss as far as success goes, but certainly the good cases look really good when the champion does its thing.
Yeah, today has looked much better for Nautilus pastry time, and it does seem to be that wild card factor. The hooks are landing, the lockdown in fights coming across, and if FBI is going to be the carry of this game, maybe on something like Vayne, as you aptly pointed out last time Bombers played, Nautilus just shuts down that aggression.
So Galio continuing to make appearances, this time not on the red side ban list, but over on the first pick side there for Isurus, after Rise and Varus also got taken away. Seems like we'll have a pretty standard draft, at least to kick things off. Brom has been the pretty standard response here up against the Galio, so Rogue with Thresh being banned away, likely going to take that one here, and we saw the Jarvan hover, we'll see the Jarvan pick. Volkan, I think certainly been the pick he's looked most comfortable on this tournament.
I would actually like to see both of the champions locked in the Jarvan as well as the Braum. We haven't seen Sona Taric prioritized as of yet in play-ins pastry times, but the hover is there.
Again, I have to double check, but I believe FBI has played a different champion in every game, or at least almost every game of his tournament so far. Certainly playing Sona in the Sona Taric duo would be another difference, but it is going to be Brom for Rogue this time.
I would have been surprised if they went with Sona Taric. FBI had a brief stint playing majors before relegated back to the AD carry position. Also failed a couple of times in funnel comps, but as far as standard AD carry play goes, certainly has proven his mettle so far at this tournament. Having a look at Isurus Gaming's lineup, would like to see them get another skill matchup for Bugax. This guy's had some shaky performances so far in MSI. However, his Akali did look good. It's still available. They were willing to pick it last time around.
There is the Rek'Sai, so maybe the Akali slots in nicely here for Isurus. We've also seen Seiya play it today, so they are capable of playing it in both solos. Always good when they're taking flex picks. Also, thank you, Stats, for validating me. It has been 5 unique champions for FBI so far this tournament, as the Akali you mentioned is now locked in.
And the early game aggression once again there for Isurus Gaming. If that is going to be Oddie and Seiya's champions, a lot of pressure can be exerted from this mid 2v2. Obviously failed first time around today. In saying that, still a genuine flex pick up and available here pastry time. Now the choice is pretty difficult for the Bombers because you probably want to play something like the LeBlanc into the Aurelia mid, but we've seen Mimic have very shaky performances on champions not named Kennen, so grabbing him that as a priority does seem to be pretty high for the Bombers lineup.
That will be the last pick here in phase 1 as we'll move into phase 2 of bans. Jace will be removed from the pool. Again, is a pretty good pick against Kennen. There's the LeBlanc though, pretty good against Akali if there is going to be mid lane Akali there for Seiya, so that will get taken off the board.
And with Rise already banned away and Jace joining the ban list, there isn't all that many answers left to the Kennen available. Do need to fight fire with fire a little bit because Kennen running Kleptomancy in the landing phase and rushing that Gunblade is very, very hard to shove out a lane and just accrues big advantages through hitting champions. Interested to see what Bugax has available for him, or whether he just goes and opts to take the Akali into the matchup, try and fight some fire with fire.
There's Aurelia taken away though, and Lucian also taken away from FBI. I'm trying to rack my brain if he's played that already. Gonna be tough to remember the 5 champions he's played, but I'll do my best. We'll see if FBI does have a 6th unique pick here. That would be it. That would also be different. Don't pick Teemo though.
He's not going to pick Teemo. I expect something like an Ashe or a Sivir come out from FBI. Blind pick Kalista or Vayne. Also potentially going to be on the cards. He's already played a Kalista pastry cup, unfortunately doubles up in the final game of this play-in stage. Impressive performance of his last Kalista game as well. Played it into a Kindred and was able to have a very good laning phase. Unfortunately, I believe they fell short in that game. I think it was against Fenerbahce. Have to rack my brains and check that one, but thinking about it, I think his laning phase was quite good, but fell over in the team fights.
Yeah, it feels like that's somewhat been the story for Bombers dual lane. They have looked pretty good throughout the tournament so far. Oriangel's going to go ahead and take Tristana.
And historically, this was seen as a counter pick into the Kalista. Halo of Blades, I think, swung the matchup a little bit. Of course, Triss can decide to match that if she wants some lane dominance. However, in more recent times, has not seemed to be the great lane counter as it once was. It was played a lot in the LPL as a lane counter when Kalista was at her height of power. And the Zoe again locked in. This champion has shown up massive in MSI play-ins, I feel. Even though the Sleepy Trouble bubble was nerfed the patch before, does seem to still pack quite a punch.
I think Zoe's just so good in pro. I mean, a lot of players talk about how good she is in competitive for a lot of different reasons. There's a Yasuo to finish things off here for Bombers.
one of Ryoma's signature champions, Pastry Time, was a big assassin player when he burst onto the scene in the OPL. Playing for Sim Gaming, was playing things like Yasuo. Is a very good matchup into the Zoe if you're able to get an early advantage. If you're on the back foot and you're just catching projectiles, cooldown of Windwall is a little bit too long, but look for them to play through that lane. With the AP top laner, Volkan can visit Ryoma's lane. They've got great knockups to set him up for success here. Once again, genuinely good 1-3-1 available for the Bombers versus a very heavy 1-4 comp here for Isurus Gaming's. Want to see Isurus, once again, try and get Sayer ahead, try and open up that river and allow him to rotate around. If he gets stuck in lane against Ryoma, I feel like this could be a tough one.
I think you called it the river highway with Zoe early on. I think that's a pretty apt description of what happens when the map opens up and Zoe is able to play her game.
Especially on blue side, if you can generate bottom lane push with the Zoe, and you can stand at that wall and just throw bubbles through the wall and pressure underneath turret, it becomes very oppressive to play against, especially with a squishy champion like the Kalista. So I feel like that's the crucial area of the map. Play towards bottom lane, allow Bugax to get towards that first item. He looks for his own solo kills on the Akali. You know, try and camp out mid, try and camp out bottom lane with your Rek'Sai, with your Zoe.
See how it all transpires. It's one final game for these two teams to play as they'll finish off Group A here and finish off their play-in at MSI 2019. That's certainly a lot left to show here for the next 30 to 45 minutes, or maybe more. Maybe it'll be a very long game. I have to say, it has been quite fast-paced today. Teams have been really picking it up.
Yeah, it would be really against the grain if we saw something over 40 minutes here. Most games around the 30-minute game time. However, there is some very good scaling on both of these sides. You know, Zoe as well as the Tristana only get better as the game goes on, and everyone knows the terror that is 6-item Yasuo if he's able to get towards that slot.
Well, you can see a slight difference here in early trinkets as the teams move out. Volkan does have a sweeper, so perhaps vision going to be denied away, or they have a Braum, and they're going to count this brush and see what happens.
Bugax playing on the very corner of that brush is key. We'll be able to spot them as soon as they exit into River. And you can see that Mimic actually shows himself bottom lane for the Klepto proc, so if I'm Isurus Gaming, I think something funky is happening there.
Bugax is just tempting fate a little. Yep, now sees the Braum, does not get tagged, so he'll be out very easily. Didn't skill a point either, so he could have easily flipped over the wall and having a bit of a chuckle there next to the flag.
Quite surprised the Summoner spell wasn't burnt there, Pastry Time, because that was nearly in range for the flash Q. Tag up there would have been, you know, slow plus follow-up auto attacks of 4 members, potentially a kill. However, valuing the Summoner spell, trying to keep the early game a little bit less volatile. We've already seen how well FBI and Rogue play the laning phase of the game, potentially valuing that portion of the map as well, not wanting to give anything away.
Well, looks like junglers will be kicking things off. We have a red start here for Volkan and the same here for Odi. So, of course, there'll be on opposite sides to kick things off. Looks like FBI and Rogue. He's hanging. Oh, he's queuing the Raptors to get a stack of Steel Tempest.
Okay.
You know, just wants the early Tornado.
Wants to have access to this wave, I think. Try and pick up some CS for himself against the Zoe is quite difficult.
They're even right now at 1 apiece. Let's see just how much more Ryoma can get done in the early levels. Can be tricky to navigate, as you mentioned. Also, fun to see Bugax back on the Akali. I think both these players kind of showing their champion that they've played the best on this tournament.
Completely agree, and I think that Bugax's performance was really out of left field because against Mimic, he had a Fiora game where he went up 100 CS against his Hecker and was able to dictate the pace of that game. Unfortunately, Isurus Gaming couldn't avoid the team fight of the Bombers and it ended up falling down. But in saying that, in the Akali game, he was able to get solo kills, then join up with his team. I think he picked up 7 kills in total in that game. Just had a terrific performance. Volkan back to his old way of jungling. Much more promising to see as a Bombers fan. You know, that mid lane cross for the level 3, the leech of experience without having to do the camp, go for the double scuttle crab. Much more aggressive, and it gives Ryoma that freedom to push in that middle lane.
Bit of space, always nice there, as Odi will path over a ward that is just available for a few more seconds, but probably expecting to split the map at this point as Windwall out for a bit of trade damage, and the bubble does go wide there for Saya.
But this always feels nice, as we potentially have a dive on our hand bottom lane.
Volkan gonna line it up. Rogue looking for it, does start the slow, start off onto a slow. Concussive blow's gonna proc here. Maybe a little too far forward as Wrangler's just gonna fight it out. Slow getting low, but he's not dead yet. Volkan will live, but barely. But Wrangler's gonna go back in for it. Now flushes out of the way, the flag down, but still nobody dead in that dive.
And both teams just live with a member. Volkan's so lucky to get away from the aggression of Wrangler's. Slow at the same time. One more auto attack would have done it. And what I was going to mention before that was Oddie had hard split the map, right? He was trying to zone Mimic off that turret, but the brazen turret dive, just no hesitation pulling the trigger, nearly led to disaster, then success, and ultimately not really all that much.
Yep, we have a pause. I too would be like, hey, I turret dove them, no one died, what happened?
On the flip side, where Angelus and Slow are like, why did that turret shot do so little damage on the end of it? It looked like Volcan was going to fall down to that one. Potentially his W coming back off cooldown. But Summoner Spells burnt a plenty there on the Bombers lineup. I think that the real beneficiary of that one is Slow. Now he's got all flashless targets to be able to look at bottom lane, still has flash available, get Oddie down there quickly. The gank paths of Rek'Sai bottom lane on blue side are actually really, really nice. Come over the wall from both sides. And you know, now potentially FBI and Rogue have to be able to navigate a very dangerous lane.
And given how aggressive they've played, maybe not what they want to see, but we'll have a look at this tower dive again.
So the early channel of that taunt is really, really nice because it just creates a big zone that you can't attack in. I thought that turret shot was going to definitely kill Volcan there, and then the leap over the wall, Unbreakable does get up in time. No, it wasn't Unbreakable, it was just stand behind me. So a little bit of a Guardian proc, keeps him alive, very nicely done.
Not enough there from that last Q, though, from FBI to get the kill onto Slow, so everyone is alive still, and First Blood is ready for the taking. In all seriousness, from my joke before, it is an audio issue on stage for Bombers, so we'll get that fixed up ASAP and then jump ourselves back into the game.
And you can see smiles on the Bombers captain's face as Rogue was turning around and looking at the rest of his team. He's had quite an impressive tournament. Was seen as potentially one of the weaker players on the lineup, a star-stacked roster for the Bombers. No one is weak, obviously, within their domestic roster like all of these teams, but certainly has stood up on the international stage so far. However, coming into this game, I really do feel like if the Bombers are going to show the best performance in MSI, this is a must-win. And at the same time, Isurus Gaming, you know, we talked about their journey as a super team, finishing fourth, going the long way through the playoffs run, having to play 3 best-of-5s, going the distance so many times. You know, people had them as potentially the dark horse to upset in this group. I believe Froskurin's exact words were they won't win the group, but they'll decide the outcome of the group. Obviously, that hasn't necessarily been the case, apart from the one upset victory over Fenerbahce. But have had moments where they look incredibly good, but also other times where they look a little bit uncoordinated and a little bit slow to the punch.
Yeah, I mean, very well could have been, but I think Isurus should be commended for the good they have done in this MSI play-in stage. Looks like we are going to move ourselves back into the game in short order. So once that happens, we'll get back involved. Hopefully headsets fixed. Maybe that's why the turret dive went wrong.
Potentially could be the case.
Probably
Obviously, not going to be much of an outlier here, however. They'll just kick off back into laning phase. And no harm, no foul on this one, page through time. Is interesting to once again see such a hard split of the map coming out of the Bombers. Would have expected Volcan to be into that mid lane, into the top lane early on. That's where he's seen most success so far this tournament, leaving FBI and Rogue for the 2v2, but Ryoma seems to be doing quite well for it.
That was quite the win wall. I believe that ate a bubble.
Certainly did. And this is one of those lane matchups that can go wrong very, very quickly for a Zoe. If she has to build Arm Guard first, she really does run into mana pool issues, and then, you know, with mid lane priority, Jarvan's either able to deny away that blue buff. Obviously, Ryoma not going to need it. He's resourceless in this lane matchup, so can become quite a pain. Say you're doing a great job, however, right now to stay even in farm, wave pushing into him, so he's very safe in the matchup so far.
Ryoma, though, getting what he wants in the matchup at least, able to push it in and farm up pretty safely, which is always nice against the poke-heavy Zoe. Bugax also flipping away there from Mimic, who did want a few more Klepto procs using that Lightning Rush.
They're doing a terrific job in the lane so far, is the top laner of Isurus Gaming. Going to be up in CS once again, allowing the wave to push back into him, creating avenues for Oddie to be able to come in. No real threat of a dive here with the Shroud up and available. Kali play has been good. I was watching the replay, actually, of his bottom lane triple kill. The walk back pass for the flawless execution there from the R. Like, definitely knows his way around the champion.
Certainly seems comfortable. And with fleet footwork is getting through all the harassment that Mimic is able to dish out there on the cannon. Well, not so lucky on that last few bit. But again, you're going to take your lumps in these matchups as a Kali. And then really want to
until you get Gunblade. Then you're going to try and dish some of them out, pastry time. With Gunblade and Merc Treads, think there is so much kill threat here. Slow, looking for a little bit of action. Don't know whether he spotted Volcan around that wall.
Well, he's going to get the ward because it's 2v3. So Isurus happy to just take that exchange and don't need to worry too much about it. As you kind of mentioned earlier, though, Saya's mana running a little low. Ryoma is first to 6. That ding over there for the Zoe means that Saya now has access to Portal Jump for himself, as Volcan with Rogue by his side, is able to get this Scuttle Crab that seems like Isurus were trying to fight for.
And still maintaining bottom lane control right now is the Bombers. You can see CS advantage of about a creep wave at 5 minutes into the game, allows Volkan to team up with Rogue, get control of the river again, get the vision back down to go for this invade. Seiya, unfortunately, as you mentioned, just no matter. He can't contest this mid lane wave anymore, has to go back. Does get himself the blue book in the Lost Chapter, so mana problem's gone, but now kill threat could potentially be there.
Also some brush hiding here for Oddie. I think maybe just covering for the wave, or perhaps they are entertaining a dive here. Oddie is going to sneak
Flash
to the next
is available. Only cleanse up for FBI. Here they go.
Yep, in they go. Looking for FBI. Taunt not going to land. I think it barely missed Rogue.
But he has flash pastry time. That could have been guaranteed, could have been secured. Also, the fact that Oddie has flash as well. I mean, if you're willing to burn summoner spells, I feel like there is an opportunity for a kill there. Now slow on the ward, not going to have the equal advantage. The fact that Orangulus also has already shopped, had to get himself a second Doran's Blade, and now is under half health, means that he's going to have to go for another shop. Missed opportunity there for Isurus Gaming.
Yeah, it felt like maybe they should have just committed. Maybe with the cleanse, they were a bit worried about finishing off the kill. Nice bend there by Seiya. Does land the bubble. Windwall touch late there for Ryoma, so able to find a trade.
And I feel like, you know, a little bit of a handshake early game coming out, Pastry, although Oddie, once again, looking bottom lane. Slow still does have the flash available.
This time, perhaps. We'll burn the summoner spells. Level 6 not quite there. FBI a little too far forward. There's the flash knockup. Straight in onto FBI, and first blood will be theirs. Orangulus picks it up.
So in the end, patience is key for Isurus Gaming. Allow them to push out a little bit more. Get the summoner spell, get the kill. It does also go over to 80 carry, so successful gank there for Oddie.
Investment in the Doran's Blade helps out. They'll get this next wave pushed in. FBI will take the death and pick up the Bilgewater Cutlass as Rogue trying to run interference, but that may be a little too far forward. It's Volkan, though, with the level 6 is trying to make it happen, but there's a kill already for the Tristana. Volkan looking to try and get the trade kill as Rogue does get the pickup onto the Tristana, and Volkan does take down the other half.
Yeah, in the end, disastrous play for Isurus Gaming. Got greedy, wanted that wave to crash. Rogue walking up should have been a clear message that someone else was there. Not to mention the fact with mid lane priority, Ryoma always going to come and clean if they were beaten to the punch. Got to watch when Ryoma... Actually, this is the first gang, so, you know, very nicely done from Oddie here. Just flash unburrow. Slow uses the summoner spells as well. Clinical play there, and that's what I mean, you know, burn the summoner spells, secure the kills. You got to be able to generate a lead somewhere. But you can already see that as this happens, Ryoma heading downriver, not cut off in time by Oddie, means that as soon as Orangulus goes this low, far into the turret, even if he survived that last shot, would have fallen down. Volkan able to clean the other end of the kill, so evens out the Bombers' scoreline.
Yeah, BF sword now picked up for Orangulus as the fights continue here in the bottom half of the map. Thought land there from Slow, but they find the Cataclysm, and FBI's here to finish it off. And Bombers answer in kind there as a good dive again. Bugax looking for the solo kill, happens to find it onto Mimic.
And time again, the top laner of Isurus Gaming's adding to the highlight reel on the Akali. Mimic looks safe, had already burnt the ultimate, however, flashback underneath the turret, not going to keep him safe. It's just so much better to see Bugax playing freely. Oddie now, however, in trouble.
Yeah, Ryoma, doesn't land the next Q. Good tunnel there from Oddie, gets his way out to safety.
Because he's had some disastrous games so far, Pastry time. You know, the start of the tournament did look terrible for Bugax, top laner of Isurus Gaming, but now to see him, you know, get a little bit more swagger, go for his own plays on the Akali, and able to make them work.
Yeah, up over 20 CS right now. Just held the Bilgewater Cutlass when he almost nabbed that solo kill, so Gunblade not far away now with the Revolver also completed.
Once again, we'll take another look at this one. So just immediately in. Dances to the far side of the Shroud to guarantee the empowered auto, and then nails in with a flash prediction as well. Flashing in a straight line is dangerous, ladies and gentlemen. And just the style points there in a 1v1.
Does have to burn the flash at the end, but gets away with it there, and a very nice looking solo kill there for Bugax. So once again, it feels like the Bombers are starting to split the map again. FBI's off rolling here, although to be fair, Tristana also has 2 kills, but Mimic feeling the pressure already falling down to his lane opponent. Back in though, Mimic fancies another go. Maybe should unfancy. Said go, ulti's almost back as well. That stopwatch is going to make sure he dies. Bugax does it once again.
Yeah, another solo kill, this time without ultimate, and it is back available. And this is a disaster for Oceania as Bubble lands in the mid lane.
Good wind wall to make sure the paddle start cannot connect.
Historically, pastry time. Oh, actually, hold that thought.
It's held.
Okay.
Okay.
Go. Historically, Oceania struggled in the jungle and top lane position. That's why the Korean imports were so celebrated when they came over to Bombers. Unfortunately, what this MSI play-ins has proved that still there is a journey to go in those two roles. Mimic and Volkan way too inconsistent. And Bukax, once again, what would have been for this Isurus Gaming lineup if he had started in this form at the start of the play-in tournament?
Well, that's actually maybe Oddie going to be the pick here. Galio riding in to try and save his teammate, but it might be a double kill. There's the last breath. Going to find both off the Fate's call. Ryoma finally gets on the scoreboard.
And once again, fighting in bottom lane against mid lane priority is a cardinal sin of League of Legends. You cannot do it, even if you have tempo cheats like the Galio ultimate. Isurus Gaming look for the play, but they are punished hard by the Bombers lineup.
Well, again, we'll look back towards the top lane and see if Bugax can get it done, because that Gunblade's now finished, and Mimic knows he's on the menu. Lightning rushing away there. I mean, at this point, you can't really approach this Akali in top lane.
Yeah, you certainly can't. However, with Dragon down, next is going to be an Ocean. It would be nice to pick up. However, rotation to the top lane might be on the cards. And you can just see Oddie, no top lane priority, has struggled with bottom lane priority all game. Going for a Scuttle Crab, gets picked up very easily. Slow tries to save his his jungler, but unable to do so. Just adds himself to the cannon fodder. Once again, it's just disappointing to see from Oddie, someone that, you know, one of the veterans of this team that we were hoping would step up in this final game for Isurus Gaming, not able to do so.
Well, still the rest of the map kind of plays out. Luden's done now for Seiya. Ryoma returning back. Does need to spend whatever mountain of gold he's currently sitting on. 26, almost 2,700. 2 Doran's Blades and some Zerka Greaves. Not going to get it done after Seiya's finished that shot, but looks like Ryoma will take the back. Now as Oddie perhaps has found Volkan, tags him, does not follow.
Bugax looking for that kill as well. I feel like if you're Volkan, top lane, no-go zone right now. If you don't bring Rogue with you, you just don't go there at all. That means that Oddie, on the back end of Ryoma's recall as well, should be able to set his team up with a nice Rift Herald against the flow of play. But once again, it feels like Isurus Gaming, even though they're in a 1,000 gold deficit, have firm control of this top side of the map.
Certainly do. That pressure from the Akali will mean that Rift Herald is started by Oddie and looks to be completed, as neither Mimic nor Volkan can really get in the area. In fact, Jarvan finishes his recall. Ryoma gets exhausted. Seiya picked one up off the floor, but doesn't last for too much longer. And now with that static shiv, a lot more threat now, and some nice wave clear to try and match the Zoe a little bit.
Certainly the case. However, I feel like that is where the Rift Herald really does come up trumps, because even though turret plating is falling in the next 30 seconds, the ability to open up that mid lane, you know, potentially force Ryoma to go side lane a little bit earlier than he would like to, could come up trumps here. See, mid lane.
Looking for a knockup, but doesn't land it yet. A tornado is nice. Last breath, though, does not go through. Might have been out of range there. Seiya does go down, still able to finish off the kill, and now Oddie going to be the next one as well. Void Rush is there, but he can't finish off the last breath as the execute comes out. But Balkan's still going to move forward, try and grab the kill. Oddie juking back and forth as he can. It's red buff chase as Oddie just tunnels away to safety. Balkan cannot connect with the flag and drag, not in range. So just a 1-for-1 as both mid laners die.
Yeah, and the reason he didn't want to flag and drag in their pastry time is because the W from Rek'Sai is going to win that interaction. There would be a knock up into a chomp, probably would fall down. Slow very low in this bottom lane. Bombers, however, do back away from the turret. You can just see 1-for-1 trades. Very close game at this stage.
Blade of the Ruined King freshly finished for FBI.
Look at, once again, Volkan just on the map, constantly looking for dives. I feel like this bottom side of the river has been in firm control of the Bombers for the last few games. They haven't necessarily been able to convert it into goodness. But this time around, looks like first turret is going to fall. Ocean Dragon up and available should be the next objective.
We'll see what happens in topside, actually, as Mimic finds Oddie, but burns the ulti, not able to get a kill. So, again, back to Bugax here for the pressure, and the Rift Herald channel will mean that it will be a trade, as the bottom outer turret does give Bombers that first brick gold, but shouldn't be too much more needed to finish off this turret in top lane. As Mimic maybe just hogging for some experience. I think maybe he made a mistake. Bugax does find the first stun. PE finds a slow from the Gunblade. Rogue there. Looking to play coverage, but he still finds the sniper. The Shuriken needs a little bit more. Rogue trying to block it up with a flash Q. Seals it once again.
And the 1v2 outplay this time for Bugax just goes for the turret guide anyway. Ignores Rogue. They get the turret, they get the kill, and single-handedly nearly keeping his team in this game.
Yeah, like you mentioned, Bomber's still up in gold, but Bugax is making it look Like that doesn't matter. Ryoma clears out the rest of these creeps. And Kali now finish up that Merc Treads and a needlessly large rod. Out for blood here. As looks like we'll be found out at the break. Volkan does get the dragon. Finds the last breath knock up and slow. He just can't do it.
You hate to see it. Now Ryoma looking for Orangelus.
Going back in, Winwall, I'm not sure available. The Buster Shot's good and no knockups found there. So Wrangler's going to look for the resets, but the shield is popped. And now the resets come out. Ryoma must flash away and does so.
Really nice play from the AD carry of Isurus Gaming. Happy to take the 1v2. Already has the Infinity Edge there. Slow was so close. He's millimeters away from picking up that kill and the dragon. But really nice rotation down from Ryoma. Let's take another look at the 1v2 outplay, however. Mimic, as you said, just trying to leech EXP, trying to get Q. Thought Rogue was going to be in range, but this is the fun thing about Akali. In 1v2 situations, when people rely on skill shots to be able to tie you up, she's able to have so much agency in the outplay and does so right there. Now Volkan thinks against the topside play, can sneak himself a dragon. We'll get it with 31 health left and live to tell the tale, but not sure that was the smartest play.
Also curious to see Winwall used there by Ryoma. I think he did it just to cancel an animation, but he really would have wanted it here, trying to 1v1 the Triss.
Yeah, I mean, Triss just jumping on people, also gets a flash out of Ryoma. Really nicely played by Orangelus, playing on the edge of what is dangerous, but what is accomplishable on this Tristana right now.
So they're getting tagged, FBI out for blood, but does not follow through. Saya, though, does eat a pretty big chunk of damage, as looks like Bombers might be moving their lanes around. Ryoma has finally been promoted to the side lane. I don't know if it's a promotion, Fiasco.
Yeah, now going to be building up on the new Wits End. Really nice item here, especially given the fact that both of the side lanes are AP users.
Mimic, though, in some trouble this time. No, it's not the Akali, it's Orangelus that's up there to the top lane and making a pretty good go. That 1v1 actually forcing Mimic to ulti. Yeah,
the trade of the ultimate for the Tristana rocket jump is certainly in Tristana's favor there, and the fact that this Tristana is able to go toe-to-toe with the Kennen is a really bad news story for the Bombers. He is currently 60 CS down. On the flip side, you have to say that Orangelus struggling into FBI. Does have the 3 kills, however, is also, you know, in a 55 CS deficit. And once again, the map just split between these two teams. The dam of top lane certainly broken, but it looks like FBI and Rogue have done their job one more time.
FBI now in mid lane looking for slow, gets a big chunk of damage down.
Teleport bottom lane, however.
Committed. Ryoma down here, Odi is there. Mimic actually trying to make a play cross map this time around. His own lane wasn't so fun, but Bugak's gonna try and get out of there. Good save there on the Shuriken. Asaya now the next target, FBI in, finds the stun, that's going to be a kill. Galio roaming in, oh, good attempt from Rogue, but still not quite able to grab the knock-up. Still might be there, as Slow going to get rendered to death. FBI still going to chase and hop around, and that's 2 kills over the Bombers.
And time again, Slow trying to save teammates, however, Odi in trouble now.
Make it 3, knock-up lands, there's the last breath, and that's just so easy for Ryoma. Oh, not that easy, maybe. Is Odi still trying to dance away, tunnels to safety. Maybe out of there, running in towards his AD carry. Mimic there also going to get jumped on as Odi still getting chased through. Mimic looking to get 1v1. Raptors this never to land it, and that's actually Odi out as well. ISG find their way out.
Maybe?
All right, never mind. There's 2 members of Bombers here. Raptors going to fight his way out valiantly, but still a shutdown instead. Gifted over to FBI. No teammates left to run to.
Cue the Yakety Sax pastry time. A little bit of Fiesta on the cards there. Fight in the mid lane, spills over to top lane jungle as well. The AD carry of Isurus Gaming gets some style points for a solo kill on a solo laner. But now mid lane turret will come under fire.
Yeah, it looks like the objective still name of the game here is FBI and Rogue trying to take down this structure and open up a lead in that area. Bomber still looking at almost 3,000 gold ahead, but yeah, let's watch this again.
Yeah, an outright face check generally is a bad idea, especially if you're playing a squishy mage support. And, you know, I tried to mention it during the replay, but I feel so bad for Slow. Time and time again, he's trying to save people in the incorrect position, you know, punish for his teammates' poor decision-making. And this looked like it was a free kill, Pastry. I was with you, you know, taking turret shots left, right, and center. You bring the Yasuo into range, but unfortunately, high, wide, and not very handsome was that Steel Tempest from the Yasuo. Very nice flash and escape from Odi. And we save Mimic the embarrassment of watching him get killed solo by a Tristana.
Yeah, only 3 deaths. Ignore the one in the middle there that looks like a 4. Mimic, though, certainly having a rough game. Gunblade is done, but just kind of taking whatever scraps are left under his turret at this point.
But checking in with the items, you know, the Bombers Mid laner and 80 carry are in such powerful positions right now. It's going to be 2.5 items for FBI to complete his items for this man.
This will be fun. Ryoma with the Wits End now finished, looking to try and get the solo kill of his own onto Bugax, the solo kill master this go around. Will force to be used the flip and both charges of the ulti to get out safely. But Ryoma using that ignite, certainly showing that 1v1 he might have the edge right now.
And good patience shown from Ryoma. You could see that Rogue actually mid lane.
Looking again, slow, getting constantly picked on here by FBI. Orangelis and Oddie able to clear some of that out. FBI is forced to burn the cleanse due to a bubble that was thrown out there by Seiya. Ryoma also getting a ton of work done. Actually going for the tower dive here onto Bugax. Oh, misses that Q. Windwall's nice, but I think that's going to be it. Q flashes, looks for it there, but there's the flash Q. Ryoma looking for the outplay, and he finds it!
And now Oddie down here.
Can't outplay this. Yeah, that's goodbye. Oddie able to get the kill there with the Foydra.
And just as I'm complimenting his patience, the solo laner for the Bombers goes for the 1v1 turret dive. He knew that Oddie was pushing into that bottom lane turret dive mid.
Oh, that knockup landed there for Rogue. Mimic now going to find the ulti. Chain stuns are good. And Mimic finally finds something, able to get the snipe. Fates call out there for FBI as Rogue goes intentionally too deep. And the tower, maybe the most important objective as Bombers finally take down another structure.
And I feel like the tempo of this game really has started to accelerate. You can see Bombers willing to turret dive now, playing with some confidence. 4,000 gold in the lead. They're going to pick themselves up the third dragon, knocking down a couple of outer turrets as well. The transition into mid does seem very easy right now for Ryoma. Let's take another look at the 1v1. You can see already that members of Isurus Gaming are heading down in that direction. You have the Galio ult, you have the Rek'Sai. That's why this was such a dangerous play. If only Bugax was a little bit more patient, I feel like the cleanup crew would have been there even without the trade, but still, the Prey Seeker finds its mark. Oddie cleans it up. A lot of style points for a 1v1 kill on an international stage, though.
Yeah, again, Bombers and the Isurus, actually both these teams kind of continue to leave on a high note, and they've been highlights all game long. We've 21 kills in 22 minutes, which is a pace I am happy with. But it does feel like the Yasuo hypiness meter is causing the rest of the Bombers to rise up with Ryoma as he starts to gain traction in the side lane.
And interested to see the fact that Ryoma, who is level 15 right now, 2 levels over his opponent, is still in bottom lane. You know, without the teleport available, with Baron a very real objective, thought they would like to play him around the top side of the map. There is also a tier 1 turret for him to still take. You can see Mimic, who is quite far behind at this stage, 2 level down on his lane opponent, can't threaten that. At the same time, Isurus Gaming need to play around that man on your screen. I feel like Warangelis on one more item, if he gets himself a rapid fire cannon, becomes a big team fight threat against this Bombers lineup. Has to deal with a couple of walls, unfortunately, but with that range and all of the peel that he has, should be quite safe in these fights.
Good rotation here, though, from Isurus, looking to equalize the structures. They do take down the mid outer turret. And actually, Bugax getting work done there on the bottom outer might be the first of 3 here for Isurus. Rogue, we're going to try and make the play, but the Fate's Call does not land. That's just going to be tower over to Isurus as they take 2 in a few short seconds.
Yeah, really nicely done from Isurus Gaming. Fought for mid lane priority. Now chasing Bombers out of there as well.
Mimic, though, may be able to get the turret, so in the extended trade, we actually might even things back up as far as towers go. Bombers do need to get out safely, but they'll move FBI in towards the top half, so this outer turret will take some damage, although Oddie is here, and Mimic does not have teammates around right now.
Do have 2 waiting in the wing, however.
Yeah, Oddie going to go for it. That may be his demise. Going to get taken down. FBI unstoppable as Oddie took that bait real quickly.
An interesting play there from the jungler of Isurus Gaming. Might mean that the Baron goes over to the Bombers.
Well, they are going to start it. They've got the Kalista. They've got Volkan healthy and ready with the smite. Blue Trinket, we'll see, it has been started, but can they stop it is the question. Here comes Bugax.
No cannon ultimate. This is a fight.
Oh, Slow with a good, massive taunt. But they are going to try and fight their way out. First, Volkan's taken down Slow. The Baron looks to go over to the Bombers as the smite will be completed. And now Bugax going to get chased down as the Bombers find such a great fight.
And now they'll be able to rotate into the top lane turret. They'll finally knock down the last remaining outer structure. 1-3-1 on the cards, and FBI is massive. 5-1 and 5. The bottom lane of the Bombers, again, having a very good performance.
700 gold on his head if Isurus can kill him. But FBI been elusive and certainly aggressive all tournament long, having yet another strong game.
And exciting if you are an Oceanic fan to see the class of the Australian players finally starting to show on the international stage. A little bit of a dead rubber, as we mentioned. But now it becomes difficult for Isurus Gaming to be able to perform in this game. Once again, a 1-3-1 with Baron buff is hard to withstand. It looked like a great start to the fight. However, the Braum ultimate perfectly timed to get Ryoma in one more. They pick up the Baron. It was quite low. I think it was actually an auto attack securing it there from the Jarvan. But no harm, no foul. They pick up a couple of kills and are able to secure the objective.
And as far as that 1-3-1 goes, Ryoma has now finished his Infinity Edge. So that side lane going to be even better. As Bombers look to push down a few more turrets. It's even right now, but they're looking to change that with his Baron as the gold, and hopefully for them the objectives tick up as well. Isurus, though, certainly not interested in giving things away for free.
Yeah, an indecision there from the Bombers. They group as 5 in the mid lane, however, can't really affect the siege. Wind Wall as well as Unbreakable are really powerful tools in these siege scenarios, so maybe would have been a good idea to stay grouped as 5. Now, however, Poke can start to register, and Isurus Gaming trying to fight back here in the mid lane.
Bombers again back towards the mid lane, looking to try and knock down the tower. Also, Ryoma working on his 1v1. Looks like this turret will fall here in mid, as that's 5 actually, as the minions in bot lane managed to finish that off with imagine some help from Baron.
Yeah, Mimic needs to go get that top lane as well. Looks like it's slowly pushing against it. Gives a window for Oddie.
1v2 time, perhaps TP in there. Last pass gonna land. He goes in, back onto Oddie. Ryoma gonna make it good. Dives back in, but that stun is massive. Mimic though makes it into the fight to get himself a kill, but he will die on the back end of it. Volkan dives in, tries to take Bugax, but he can't grab it as ISG able to answer back resoundingly.
And a little bit too hypey there from the Bombers. They continue though.
So is that play. Oh, Fate's call was there. Always forget it as Bro goes in, looks to lock up the Zoe. Saya though with a nice stopwatch. Might protect him as a Wrangler still looking to go back in. FBI with a cleanse, trying to make the highlight play, but he gets shut down. The 1,000 gold gifted over to the AD, and that's disastrous for the Bombers.
And Isurus Gaming slam their door shut. That's against the Baron. They wipe out the members of the Bombers. They only lose 2 for their troubles. Back within 4,000 gold, will grab themselves the Dragon on the exit as well. Pastry time. Just look like greedy play. Look like undisciplined. You know, you see Mimic going top. He wants to take the last out of turret. Ryoma again looks for the outplay. Not able to get it. Great knock-up onto Mimic. Negates a lot of his effectiveness. Just chain CC'd by Slow. And you can see FBI and Rogue, the 2 strongest member of the Bombers lineup, are just not there for the whole team. And then they say, you know what? All the cooldowns are gone. Maybe we can impact some change, but the Isurus Gaming members more than equal to this task. Punish the confidence, punish the arrogance of the Bombers to go for a 2v4 dive. And give away some massive bounties in the process.
Yeah, I said he had 700 gold in his head. He had 1,000 when he died. So went to the worst possible player it could have, as well as Orangelis finds himself now at 3.5 items, matching Kalista very quickly and on a very different champion when the late game rolls around.
And as I mentioned, it's going to be difficult to get onto the Tristana. You've got yourself a Buster Shot to get rid of either a Yasuo or the Cannon. You know, with Summoner spells available, very hard to tie up the Rocket Jump as well as the Flash and the Heal. If a QSS comes out anytime soon, Pastry time, I think it should have been there instead of that Vamp Scepter impact. It's going to be difficult.
FBI fighting Orangelis, but there's Rogue to tip the balance. FBI, though, did try some standing DPS and I think failed that test.
Yeah, I think it was a kind of pass mark for now. It does have the GA and was very, very confident in going toe-to-toe. Had to look for some support for his teammates after the Hail of Blades fallen off, but at least for the 3 auto attack, look competitive.
That's true. Also forgot about the GA, so maybe just fancying himself in any sort of Mortal Kombat situation. So trying to clean out these minions here in the top side as Bombers kind of in the position they wanted to be, but they don't have Baron anymore.
Yeah, I would really like to just see the Bombers slow down and, you know, regain control over the bottom lane, allow the split push to set up, get some deep wards top, look for the last out of turret and a clean Baron set up in a minute's time. This game was tracking for, you know, a promising end to the tournament for the Oceanic representative. It's got very sloppy. At the same time for Isurus Gaming, I think, you know, you just wait for the Bloodthirster to come through and you roll the dice on one more team fight. You hope that the backline threat, the Bugax, who's, you know, got himself the 3 items and a death cap at this stage of the game, is enough to deter either Ryoma or FBI from the backline.
Mimic is the bait this go around there. Shroud already committed. Here's Ryoma, but Bugax still invisible. Oh. Gets the kill. Ryoma needs to keep going, but I think he might be out. The Ignite is going to be close. He does die to Ryoma, who's actually going to last breath onto Slow. Saya is late as long as Oddie and Orangelis are also in pursuit, but he's going to try and get the kill, and he will pay for that greed.
And time again, the Bombers are looking for this side lane attack, and it is not working. Isurus Gaming equal to the task of being able to rotate down there. Now, FBI and Rogue also chase off this mid lane wave. The fortitude of this team to continue. You can see that this is Mimic going in, gets the stun down, and that should have been Azonya's Hourglass. You knew that he had to be in the Shroud. Instead, the mini stun registering will pick up the kill during that. And it looked like Ryoma could have just dashed away here. But he wanted to go for the 1v1 one more time, pastry time. I feel like this is starting to become very troublesome for the mid laner of the Bombers. And it's Warangelis again, who is the main recipient of the Bombers' greed.
Yeah, so, you know, it infects us all sometimes spawn. You get excited, you start to pick up items and try and make a montage instead of win the game.
Yeah, and now defend the 4-item Tristana. Legitimate win condition. You know, you have to be very worried if you start up a Baron buff and the Tristana is able to just sit at max range, now level 15, and takes pop shots at you with all of that damage. Like, one more defensive item coming out, whether it is going to be something like the Merc Scimitar or the GA, I feel like nearly tips this game over the edge to where it's now Isurus Gaming favored.
And again, remember, Bomber's still up about 3,000-4,000 gold. Still have plenty of map control to try and play with, but running out of time here and running out of answers, it feels like. I do agree that in general, teams probably need to just slow things down a bit more, but certainly the game has become unhinged somewhat as Bombers just straight to Baron. Going to start it off and try and force some sort of engagement.
But they have the poke of Zoe right now, the bubbles through the wall. And once again, Tristana going to be hard to get onto.
Wind wall down. Bomber's going to look for the re-engage. They find the last breath, but only onto slow. They're going to look to try and take down the AD. They need to get a carry. They will get slow, but again, untouched here for Wranglers. The buster shot of the absolute gods prevents Ryoma from going back in. And Bugak's now going to find that snipe. Balkan Low going to get shut down, and now will resurrect the next bubble lands. FBI now the target, and this is going to be it for Isurus. They're going to win the fight resoundingly as FBI GAs to only die. Rogue lives, but he's the lucky one this time around.
Godlike positioning from Warangelis maybe just won the game for Isurus Gaming. Able to flash over that wall, 30-second death timers. They might have just done it.
They're going to make a run for it at the very least. 32.5 minutes or just over as Isurus slam down this mid inhibitor tower. They'll take the inhib with it. And looks like the pings are on to the Nexus.
Certainly is Pastry, and with the Tristana and only a Braum standing in their way, Mimic up in 10 seconds, but it's not going to be enough.
Rogue locked up again. Rancher's just going to give a beating to the turret, and looks like Rogue just can't really do it himself. He falls asleep. Bad time for a nap there, buddy. Is Isurus still going to move forward? Wranglers, Rocket jumps in. Mimic is doing everything he can, but the Tristana will not be stopped. Ryoma going to try and salvage the last few bits of this fight. Balkan looking in, but the Nexus falls down, and Isurus Gaming take a bow as they take down the Bombers to finish off their MSI.
And such a good team fight out of Isurus Gaming to bring back this game from the brink, holding on in the bottom lane, confirming the game with the team fight around Baron. And Warangelis at 80 carry standing tall.
That was quite the ending as the teams will shake hands. You know, if these two teams are going to go out and finish off their MSI, at least that was a fun one to finish it on, but oh boy. Between Bugak's Akali and that performance from that Tristana in those team fights, certainly a well-deserved bow there taken by the members from the Latin American League.
And a very fun last game. As you mentioned, solo kills aplenty. Bugak's in the top lane, getting it rolling. Ryoma kind of picking up the torch with FBI, and then really Warangelis bringing it home hard for his team. That was such an impressive positioning in the team fights. Late game Tristana is always such a terror, and playing it on the edge of, you know, this is dangerous, but I'm getting out so much DPS.
And you said it was going to be tough for the Bombers to actually get onto the Trist. Well, they made it as difficult as they could, and they still got out of it.
I mean, they blew like 3 summoner spells in the end. They tried to just hard dive Tristana, but Warangelis, credit to him, was equal to that task.
Well, let's take a look at a replay 28 minutes through. The ace here from Isurus, and really what tied it all together.
Yeah, and you know, I was saying Ryoma playing pretty disciplined, which is a change. Well, he shows a little bit of undisciplined play here to start this one up. Goes in when he doesn't have the team rotating across, and this is what you like about experienced lineups. Call it a throw or whatever you would like, but the ability to catch when you're this far down against a Baron buff is a skill. And you can see FBI and Rogue still pushing forward, but the outplay from people like Warangelis, like Saya, to keep this fight going in Isurus Gaming's favor was very impressive.
Yeah, if that 1,000 gold hadn't gone over to the Tristana and this extra gold that he picks up after the assist from Rogue, maybe it's a bit of a different story in that last team fight with that cold graph. as Wranglers brings it all the way back.
And if you're wondering why we're talking about the Tristana so much, I think that damage graph kind of does tell the tale. To be so far behind, 7,000 gold at about 27 minutes into the game, to bringing it back in 33, such a turnaround in 5 minutes of game time. You know, honorable mention once again to Bugax of Isurus Gaming. Had a terrible start to the tournament, but really by the end of it had warmed up, had shown that he can more than hold his own against these international top lanes.
Yep, had the kill on Ruin, slayed Mimic, honestly, in that 1v1. Yep. But again, we talked about those teams earlier. The tiebreaker for first place between Fongvu Buffalo and Fenerbahce will be played at the end of the day after the first games in Group B. Whoever wins that game will face off against Team Liquid in the knockout stage. But we do have some ceremony to get to in just a moment. No one is surprised. Our MasterCard player of the game is, of course, Warangelus. And with team fights like that, I have to agree.
And 779 damage per minute is such a high scoreline. Getting towards that 6 items on the Tristana, always a very fun way to play the game. And I think that, you know, credit to him, knew exactly how he had to navigate the team fights, knew that they were coming for him, was able to get away time and time again.
And of course, MasterCard is also putting the best fans in esports by shining a spot